I started riding back in about 2017, and I'll tell you right now, I wish that a budget hardtail like this would have been available.
What's going on, everybody? I am Jared with Bikes Online USA, and today we have a new contender in the budget hardtail category. It's the completely revamped, ultra-aggressive 2023 Marin San Quentin 1. It's a rite of passage for all new mountain bikers to start off on a hardtail mountain bike. They're less expensive, they're easier to maintain, and they teach you proper line choice when on the trail. So now that we have it unboxed, let's take an in-depth look at the Marin San Quentin 1 and try to answer the age-old question. Is this the ultimate budget hardtail? It's not every day that you'll find a generously spec'd hardtail for under $1,000 that also has ultra-aggressive, hardcore geometry. And what do I mean by hardcore geometry? Well, take a look at it when compared to, more conventionally shaped hardtails. It has that long, slack, and low profile that a lot of people are looking for today. When you look at it, it's the type of bike that says, I mean business. And after riding it for quite a bit, I'd have to agree. This bike does in fact mean business. The Marin San Quentin 1 comes in two very sick color options. There are also two higher spec versions coming down the pipeline, the San Quentin 2 and the San Quentin 3. So make sure that you're subscribed to Bikes Online to see all the updates on exactly how those bikes will be laid out. But back to the San Quentin 1, it features a 130mm coil sprung fork brought to you by SR Suntour. It is the XCM34, which has a boost bolt-on front axle. The fact that this bike features a tapered head tube, a tapered headset, as well as boost spacing up front means that you're not going to have any problems upgrading to the fork of your choice when your riding progression calls for it. But don't feel the need to rush, because you'll be surprised at just how much the XCM34 can take on. Because although coil sprung forks are often featured on entry-level hardtails, beefy 34mm stanchions are not. To reiterate, this is not your normal entry-level fork. In fact, I don't think I've even bottomed it out yet, and I've done some pretty decent sized stuff on it. With this fork, I had no issues tackling all of my normal trails, and the fact of the matter is, it could probably take on more confident riding than I was dealing it. Now, as for the drivetrain, this is brought to you by Microshift. It is their Advent 9-speed, which doesn't sound like a lot of gears, but you still get an 11 to 46 tooth cassette, which gives you a very wide range, just like some of the more advanced 11 and 12 speed setups. With this group set, you'll be able to tackle some steep inclines as well as some gnarly descents without hearing all of the chain slap. And don't be fooled by the competitive price tag of the Microshift components. I found them to be extremely reliable, and they provide similar shifting to setups that could cost twice as much. Aside from the crankset and the square taper bottom bracket, I don't plan to change anything out immediately when it comes to the drivetrain on this bike. You'll see more about that in an upcoming video where I get into budget upgrades. As for the brakes, these are going to be provided by Tektro, and they are the M275 trail brakes. These are considered to be a mid-duty hydraulic braking system with overall value in mind. They balance both performance and cost efficiency well, and with proper bedding, you'll find that they provide more than adequate stopping power for any descents that you will tackle on your Marin San Quentin 1. Tektro, as I've mentioned in a previous video, uses very common standards for both their mineral oil as well as the dimensions on their brake pads, which makes maintaining the brake system quite simple. The Marin San Quentin 1 also features 180mm rotors both front and rear, which is a step above industry standard when it comes to budget hardtails. While aboard my San Quentin 1, there was never a moment where I felt like I was severely under-braked, where the bike felt like a runaway train. The M275s may not be the most glamorous braking system or provide the most industry-leading modulation. However, there's no denying the fact that they did their job well given their cost. Now let's have a quick look at the wheel and tire setup of the San Quentin 1. This bike will come equipped with 27.5 by 2.6 super grippy V-Tire flow snap tires. Please be advised, these are wire bead tires, which means they are not tubeless ready. So aside from needing rim tape, valves, and sealant to go tubeless, you'll also need to factor in a set of folding tubeless tires. Now this isn't something that you need to do first day. In fact, I rode the bike in stock setting for quite a while with the tubes. The equipped wheels on the Marin San Quentin 1 are boost spacing, but you need to be aware that the rear wheel is actually 141 boost quick release, which means it's going to be a little bit more difficult when it comes time to shop for aftermarket wheels. However, with each passing day, there seems to be more and more wheel set options becoming available for 141 QR boost. Overall, I found the wheel setup to do its job very well, and if I had to choose any shortcomings at all, it would just be the weight. However, when you factor in the entry-level nature of the Marin San Quentin 1, you can't really expect the lightest components. I believe that the old saying goes, bikes can either be affordable, light, or durable, but you can only pick 2 out of the 3. Think about that for a second. Finishing up the specs of the Marin San Quentin 1, you can expect some 780mm wide bars, a 45mm reach stem, as well as the internal routing accommodations for the addition of a dropper post. Now, a dropper post has been a real game changer in the world of mountain biking, so chances are the very first mod that this bike will see is the addition of that dropper post. I won't lie to you, it was a bit of a challenge to always have to stop to raise or lower my seat post. So having the ability to adjust my saddle height at the flick of my thumb is definitely something that I've been taking for granted. To wrap things up, the 2023 Marin San Quentin 1 is a super spunky hardtail with a very unique personality. If you're in the market for an entry-level hardtail, but you want something that has more focus on being rowdy and having fun in the descents, rather than just cranking out miles, this is probably the bike for you. I can't even begin to stress how excited I am to optimize this bike in the future. I have a feeling that this bike in particular may accompany me more on trail than I originally anticipated. If there's anything else that you'd like to learn about the San Quentin 1, make sure to drop a comment below. The team here is ready to answer all the questions that you may have as quickly as we can. If you think that you're ready to rip in 2023 aboard this new Marin San Quentin 1, you can check the links below to get your bike on order. Thanks as always for hanging out with me. Again, I am Jared with Bikes Online USA, and I'll see you around. Oh, that's rowdy.